Welcome to another one of my live streams where I come to you with interesting topics, conversations with Ivy. Thank you all who have joined the broadcast today. I appreciate all of you. Today we're talking about how to build wealth. And we have a special guest here who is going to share the knowledge. Talking about money is something that a lot of us don't often do. It's like a taboo subject. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share what their earnings are. They don't want to talk about how much money they have or don't have. It becomes a source of contention between friends, between family, colleagues, because maybe you've loaned some money to someone, or maybe they've loaned something to you. Maybe you owe to the bank, whatever it may be, you have some money issues that may be pressing in your life. Or maybe you don't owe anybody money, but you still have money issues on your mind because we all have different circumstances and different things that concern us. But today, Lydia Andrews is going to talk to us all about money. We're streaming live on my YouTube channel today, as well as on Facebook. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comment section so that we can have Lydia answer any of your questions that have to do with money. Now, who is Lydia Andrews? She is currently a senior associate with a company called Holborn Assets, and they are a company based out of the UAE. And she is Canadian. She was raised in Canada and she studied at Carleton University. She has a degree in political science and law with international relations. And then she studied energy studies and investment wealth management, advanced wealth management. She is completely certified as a life coach, and she's passionate about teaching people about money. And she even has even a particular passion about teaching women, because women often have the biggest challenges when it comes to managing money. She started Love Yourself Financially. There is a Facebook group that you can join and get more information and chats and get one-on-one with her when you join the Facebook group. So I'm going to bring Lydia on now, and she can introduce herself and let her know a little bit more about what she does. Thank you so much for joining today, Lydia. How are you?
Hey, Ivy. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this live stream and talk about money and share your knowledge.
Of course. It's such an important topic. And so I'm really excited to be discussing this with you and your audience today.
Is there anything that I missed about you that you want to share with the audience?
No, I think you captured pretty much everything. Like you said, I'm in the UAE. I've been working as a financial advisor for 5 years now. And then I started Love Yourself Financially because I noticed that women tend to struggle more with investing, with money, with building wealth. And I wanted to address that specifically. And so that's why I started Love Yourself Financially. I have been running free workshops for women on a monthly basis, looking at different topics related to wealth. And I also just launched my coaching program where I help professional women who want to monetize their purpose.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So anybody who wants to join or get more information, I put her website there. You can sign up for your own personal sessions, join the Facebook group. So when it comes to money, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is how to budget and how to save. Because you always hear, save your money, save your money, save your money. But a lot of people don't save money. So what is the issue? What is the underlying issue as to why people aren't saving money?
Well, I think the most important thing is understanding how you relate to money, how you view money. That's often impacted by how you were raised. Okay, so it's understanding your relationship with money, and then that will determine why you're struggling with the issues that you have as an adult with regards to money. So something as simple as budgeting, we tend to think that it's something that's easy, but it may not be that easy, especially if it's something you've never done, you haven't been doing. It's not a habit that you've cultivated. And so what I tell people to do is, I don't like to look at budgeting as something very rigid that you need to be doing. I think it's a guide. So my suggestion is always to track your expenses for a few months, and then you can put together a budget which will help you understand where your money is going. Okay, because if you're going to be in control of your money, you need to know where your money is going first and foremost. Okay, and then the second thing is this rule, I'm sure we've heard it before, pay yourself first. So once you get your salary, pay yourself a percentage. Now, some people suggest 10%, 20%. I think it should be on a case-by-case basis. I need to understand how much disposable income you actually have. And then we can say, actually, you know what, you can be saving only 5% because your circumstances right now don't allow you to. And that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that things are tight right now. And for someone else, that may mean they're able to save 30 or 50% of their salary. Everyone is different. So I think it's not just about throwing out numbers, it's understanding each individual, making sure they understand the concept. So pay yourself first, and then them applying it into their lives as they deem appropriate.
So when you say pay yourself first, for someone who may not understand what that means, you mean taking a certain amount of money and putting it aside somewhere, maybe somewhere that they can't touch?
Exactly. So pay yourself first. When you get your salary, pay yourself a percentage first, 10%, 20%, 5%, 30%, whatever that may be. So when you pay yourself first, then your other expenses will have to adjust because you're making it a priority to save and invest for the future. And if I go into it just a little bit deeper, what are we saving for? Okay, we're not just saving for the sake of saving. We understand that money is important. We need to have money to survive. And so the first thing we should be saving for is an emergency fund. If something happens, your car breaks down, you have to travel urgently, there's a hospital bill that needs to be taken care of. This is something that is unexpected. Okay, so it's not something you could have saved towards or planned towards, like paying for Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, vacation. So if you have 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses, that tells you that, let's say you were to lose your job or you decide you want to quit, you know that you have enough money to cover your expenses for that period of time, and you don't have to worry. And you can take your time and not stress about finding a job that you don't like, but you can take your time to actually find a job that is best suited for you, and not something that, because you're anxious about just earning money, you'll take any job that comes along out of desperation.
So anybody who's watching today, thank you so much for joining the live stream. We are talking about how to build wealth, which of course starts with small steps. It's not something that happens overnight. A lot of times people are looking for a quick fix and think that they're going to do something and then just boom, 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 you're going to become rich overnight. People who've become wealthy have done it over a number of years. Unless you've won a lotto or a jackpot somewhere, typically it takes you a number of years to be able to earn a lot of money to the point of wealth. And building wealth is also about a long-term goal, right? Because sometimes people think about, like, as you mentioned saving for something. Someone might be saving for a car or saving for, some big item they want to purchase. But when it comes to your lifelong vision, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, how do people figure out how much they're going to need years down the road?
Okay, so the first activity is to actually spend time reflecting on the type of life you want to have. Because if you want to live in the middle of nowhere, where you have your own little garden, you are able to fish, you're living off firewood in a little cabin in the middle of the woods, then you're not going to need as much money as someone who wants to live in the city, travel the world, and live a luxurious life. Okay, so you have to take a moment and actually sit down, think about the kind of life you see for yourself. What's your lifestyle now? Do you want to continue with the same kind of lifestyle? Do you want to improve on it? And if so, you need to then think about the life that you see for yourself. How much money would you need to have on a monthly basis to be able to fund it? Okay, one thing that I always do is I look at retirement planning. Retirement is different for everyone. So for some people, retirement is they're quitting their job, they're doing nothing, they're just going to chill for the rest of their lives. For other people, retirement means they're not quitting their job. It just means that they have the flexibility. They're not working because they have to. They're working because they enjoy what they're doing. And for others, they want to be entrepreneurs. They want to be a business person. And so that will also impacts how much they need to have, because running a business sometimes can be unpredictable. So if you don't prepare for that, you might end up struggling in ways that you don't need to if you prepare.
That's great. That's great. That's great advice. I think a lot of people don't think about that. They usually think about like a large lump sum. They'll think, I need this amount of money when I'm retired to be in the bank, but they don't think about the monthly amounts, which really is what's going to sustain you if you're able to figure out what you need. But how do you figure it out when we know inflation happens, prices change for things? We know that that happens over the years. How do you figure out? Because you know what you need now, but that might not be the same 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah, so I always do the inflation factor calculation. Depending on where you are in the world, inflation may not hit you as hard as it would in certain countries. So for example, for people in the US, in Canada, inflation is maybe 2-3%. In Ghana, inflation is like 9%, plus the devaluation of the currency. The city has dropped dramatically in the past 10 years. And so we need to factor that in. Okay, so that's part of the reason why I tell people to invest in hard currency if they're in a place like Ghana that has a weak currency. But going back to planning for inflation, it's a simple calculation. So when I sit down with people and I look at how do you see yourself living in retirement, and when is retirement? Is it in 20 years, in 30 years? Maybe it's only 5 years away. So we look at how much you need on a monthly basis. Okay, then we look at how much your retirement fund should be, because the idea is that you've built up a retirement fund and you are living off of the income, because we don't want the retirement fund to run out before you die. And so that means also if that retirement fund is sufficient and you're living off the income, that means you can actually pass that money down to future generations after you pass. And that's what we talk about when we're talking about generational wealth. Okay, it's passing money on to the next generation and to the next generation after that. A lot of times people don't plan for that. People don't even think about it. They're just so fixed on survival mode, unfortunately, due to their own upbringing and their own circumstances. But I want us to think beyond that. And instead of thinking about just getting out of the struggle, I want us to think more abundantly as a community.
I like that. Think abundantly as a community. So when you mention community, a lot of my audience are people of African descent around the world, you know, whether it's on the continent of Africa, in the US, Canada, Europe. I do have a large audience of people of African descent. And one of the things that I read often when I read stories about, you know, wealth gaps is that there is a huge wealth gap between Black people and white people. To be frank, that's what I read often. And a lot of that has a lot to do with a lot of historical laws and regulations that have resulted in generationally families not having access to certain policies, certain things that would have helped them to build the wealth within their family by now. With keeping that in mind, how does a person who may feel like they're not in a position to even start to build because they're in survival mode, like you said, how do they even get started?
Oh, I wish I could say something deeply profound, but it really isn't that complicated. It's really as simple as taking the first step. And what that first step is may be something different to you than it is to me. Okay, so for someone, they may not have a mindset issue. They may be struggling with access. So how do they get access? For someone else, they may have a mindset issue. And so if they have a mindset issue, it is working on breaking those mindsets, letting go of these limiting beliefs that are holding us back. And sometimes it's not even our fault that we have these beliefs. It's because of the circumstances that we were raised, in which we were raised, or like you said, generationally. It's been passed down from your greats to your parents to you. Okay, because they were on survival mode, and that survival mode just kept transcending down to future generations. But just because something has been doesn't mean it needs to continue. And so we can be the ones to change the path of how we manage our money and how we build wealth for future generations. And it takes not just thinking about it individually, but working together as a community to build each other up and to build wealth with each other and support each other in that journey.
So in supporting each other, you're talking about being accountable for other people?
Well, you can only be accountable. I think you're accountable to yourself. You can have people that you're accountable to that will help you, right? So I will say, for example, let's just say my goal is I want my business to earn or have a revenue of $500,000. At the end of the day, it's about me being accountable to myself, but I have other people who support me. They may or may not be able to support me in actually making the money, but they can help keep me on track, help make sure that I'm staying in line with the goals that I've mentioned. So if I want to be a millionaire one day, I'm going to need the right support system. At the very, very least, the right people to encourage me and push me when I'm struggling, because, you know, we have good days and we have bad days. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, we need people, we need the resources, and we need the right people around us to open doors, to give us those opportunities, people with which we can do business. So if I'm getting rich, I'm doing business with you and you're getting rich in the process.
If you're just joining the live stream, I am talking with Lydia Andrews, who is a wealth coach. She works with Holborn Assets out of the UAE, Abu Dhabi, and she's sharing her knowledge on making money, on saving money, on planning, building for your future. We have, of course, yes, Shirley in the comments. Hi, ladies. Hello. Thanks for joining the live stream. If you have any questions, please do share, and Lydia will be the one to answer the questions. I don't have the money answers. Lydia's the expert here. So I know that in some societies, and you know, I think that there's not a huge difference between, you know, if someone is in the US and they're struggling, and someone is in Ghana and they're struggling, they both have the struggle mindset, maybe what's holding them back. Because you talk about limiting beliefs. What are examples of limiting beliefs for someone who doesn't get what that means?
Just believing something isn't possible. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, it's not going to work out. Anytime you think that something is not going to happen, or something can't happen, or it's similar to having a scarcity mindset, that you want to pursue an opportunity, but you just talk yourself out of it, saying that it's not going to work out. You're limiting yourself before you even know whether or not it can happen. And I think it can happen if you believe that it does, right? So whatever you think about is going to happen. And so we need to focus on actually believing that it's possible, because when we do so, we will be looking out for opportunities to make that happen for us. But if we think it's not possible, are we going to put an effort into it? Why would I even try if I don't think it's possible at all? We
have Kwame who's joined in, says, "Hail ladies, we don't talk money enough, so this is great." Thank you so much for joining the live stream, Kwame. If you have any questions, please do share. Anyone else who is joining the live stream, as I said, I'm speaking with Lydia Andrews, who is an expert in the wealth building industry. Kwame says, "I currently practice paying myself first, and it's working for me." That's wonderful. Lydia had mentioned the value of paying yourself first. So that is definitely something that people need to think about all the time, is paying yourself first, choosing a percentage, as she said earlier. So as I said, I'm speaking with Lydia Andrews. Lydia is a wealth coach. Her website is loveyourselffinancially.com. She has a Facebook group, which is Love Yourself Financially. And then on Instagram, she is at Lydia Lids on Instagram. So you can follow her there as well. She gives information and she shares when she does live streams, and when she has any upcoming workshops, she shares it there as well.
I
So
must point
thank you.
out though, Ivy, sorry, I must point out my Facebook group is only for women. For men, they can follow me on any other channels. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and on Facebook I have a page, but for my group, it's only for women.
Okay, so I'll change. I'll put that there. I'll note that it's for women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good because, like Kwame was saying, a lot of women don't talk money enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of women will talk money when they're talking about going shopping, going to get their hair done, going to get their nails done, going to get some new makeup. And I'm not saying all women are like that, but there's a lot of women who that's the case. The pressure as women in our society to look a certain way and to maintain certain beauty standards results in a lot of money being spent on a lot of those things. Sometimes too much money being spent on some of those things. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to look great, because I like to look fabulous too. But I think that that is one of the things that women, some of their money goes towards. How does a woman, and this question might not be for the guys, but for women who've logged in, how does a woman determine, what she should, wean off of a little bit so that she can save money instead of always on the beauty?
Okay, so one, I want the women to think, yes, you're looking fabulous, doing your nails, doing your hair now. Will you be able to afford this same lifestyle in 30 years from now if you're not planning for it? Okay, you're spending your own money now on these things, but you want to make sure that in the future, people like to say YOLO. Yeah, YOLO is great, but you want to say YOLO even in 30 years from now, in 40 years from now. You don't want to look back. And then when you're older and your friends who have actually planned, invested, saved for the future, then you'll be having FOMO. You don't want that when they're out living their best lives in retirement. You don't want to work so hard for 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. And then at the end of it, you're not able to enjoy. We want to enjoy. I want to enjoy. I don't know about you, but I definitely want to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And so for the ladies, you may have to just reassess your priorities. And this is when we sit down and we look at the numbers, what we're planning for in the future. And so when we sit down and look at the numbers, you may realize, damn, I actually have a lot to do. There's a lot I need to be investing if I want to hit that magic number by the time I'm 50, 55, or 60. Okay. And so that will help you put things into perspective. If I tell you, you need to cut back on, don't go do your nails every 2 weeks, do it every 3 weeks or every month instead. That may not resonate as well with you as actually, no, I have a specific goal and I need to figure out how I can move my money around. We're not going to do it just for the sake of it. We're going to do it because we have a goal in mind. And that goal may be far away, so it's harder to grasp. But the further away it is, the better that investing works for you because of compound interest. Okay, so we talked about inflation earlier. I think about Ivy. I'm sure you remember Caramilk. This is a chocolate bar I've only seen in Canada. Not Caramilk, the UK version, but there's a Canadian one. When I think about that and how much it cost when I was a kid, it was like $1, if even that. Now it's $2. Right. So maybe in 20 years from now, it's going to be $4. That's a very simple example to explain how inflation works. Think about houses. If you want a house today and it costs $1 million, and we apply the same inflation number of just it doubling, then in 20 years from now, you're going to need $2 million to buy the same house. What about your lifestyle costs? You go do your nails for 100 dirhams or $50 or whatever. By the time you retire, it's going to cost you double, right, to pay for the same service. And so we need to keep that in mind. This is why inflation is it's a silent killer, because it eats away the value of money. And if we don't plan for it and we don't invest to at least get a return that's equal to inflation, then our money will just dwindle away. Even if your money is just sitting in the bank doing nothing, it's losing value this is why we got to invest. And then secondly, I would say also we need to see about increasing your income. Okay, so for some, if you're able to, there are so many ways these days we can look at how to increase our income. And there's so many ways we can do so that aren't labor intensive, right? And so if we're creative, we can actually find ways to increase our income, not just so we can spend more money today, but so we can have more money to invest for the future.
Right. So we have a question here from Kwame. How do you determine the amount to be saved for emergencies versus retirement?
Okay, Kwame. So I explained earlier that your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. So if you're in whatever currency whichever country you're in, let's say I'm in the UAE. So let's say my expenses are 10,000 dirhams per month, then I should at least have 30,000 saved for emergencies. Ideally 60,000, so 6 months worth. And then for retirement, I do a little calculation. So I look at how much money you think you're going to need in retirement. All right. So if right now, let's say hypothetically, maybe you're living off of $2,000 per month. And then when you factor in the kind of lifestyle you want to have in the future, you think that I'm going to need $5,000 per month in retirement because I want to retire at 50 and I want to have a good life and enjoy it. Maybe 5,000 isn't enough. Maybe we realize it's 10,000. So then I look at what is the retirement fund you need. Okay. So if I do just a quick calculation, 5,000 means you will need, I want to say 1.2 million. So yeah, 1.2 million. So if you need $5,000 a month in retirement, your retirement fund should be 1.2 million so that you can live off 5% of that. Okay, and that's the income. And so then we have to work it backwards to look at how many years between now and your retirement and how much should you be investing now on a monthly basis to ensure that you have the 1.2 million by the time you retire. So it depends on your age now. It depends on how much you're earning now, because just because we look at the number doesn't mean that you have that much to invest today. And then we need to factor in, do you have any other investments? Do you have any other assets? Because that 1.2 million can be balanced out if you have property or if you have any other investments. Okay, so that will lessen the burden for you.
Wow. When you say it like that, it's like, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot, but it's not a lot, because you start with what you can afford. And then once you realize, okay, this is what I need to be doing, you're going to start thinking, you're going to start becoming more creative and thinking of ways you can increase your income so that you can look for more investment opportunities, or you can increase what you're doing for your retirement.
Now, I heard at a seminar, someone said that you need to have 7 streams of income to really become wealthy. How true is that, in your opinion?
I saw a similar statistic somewhere that said millionaires have, I think it was 6 or 7 streams of income. Okay, so it's almost like you have money coming in from so many different sources, and not all of these, again, it's not like they've set up 6 or 7 different companies. Some of these can be property, and the property is managed. You've outsourced the management of the property, but you're getting the rental income. Okay, some of these could be affiliate marketing. These are all different income streams that we can take advantage of. Drop shipping, not just residential property, but commercial property. You can have a business. You can invest in your friend's business and be a shareholder, and also make money that way. So there are so many different options for how to build wealth. And I think the challenge is that for people who have not been doing it, they don't know where to look. And for me, becoming a financial advisor really opened my eyes to the investment opportunities that are available. There are so many ways to build wealth, and unfortunately, the knowledge is now becoming more available, but then we need to spread it even more to give people more access.
You said something interesting. You said invest in your friend's business.
Mm.
And I find that to be a very interesting statement. The reason I find that interesting statement is because I read something recently that was talking about relationships, and it was when men are dating women. And I don't remember the exact word for word, but to summarize, it was on Instagram, and the woman had posted the guy she was dating. She went to him and asked him if he would loan her money to help start her business, to invest in her business. And the guy was like, he's not giving her money to start her business, but he was happy to give her thousands of dollars to do her hair, to do her makeup, to do all kinds of beauty things. But she's like, you will give money for material things, but you won't give money to help me invest in my business that will be a long-term future benefit. And it would be a benefit not only for her, but for him too, if they are planning a life together. So she was like, from that, she knew he was not the man for her because he wasn't willing to invest in her as a business person. Do you think that is something that is lacking within our community? As I mentioned earlier, most of my subscribers are people of African descent. So when I say that, I'm referring to the fact that people of African descent, a lot of people are not necessarily investing in each other's businesses the same way that other communities might be. Do you think that's something that we could be doing better to help build wealth in our communities?
Okay, so with the lady and her boyfriend, I think I'm glad that she understands her own value, right? And even though he didn't appreciate what he had, or maybe that's not what he wanted, who knows? But at least she recognized what she wanted and was able to make a decision based on what he said. But I do think that it seems strange that he wouldn't invest in her business. Maybe he was being petty. Maybe he has his own ego issues. Maybe he's insecure. I don't know. Don't know them. So I can't dig into what might be the possible reasons for that. But at the end of the day, she knew what she wanted. He wasn't able to give that to her. And it also, maybe she felt like he wasn't invested in her or in their future if he wasn't going to invest in the business. I don't know. But that's definitely an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
I think that it is important to invest in each other's businesses, but it needs to be done professionally. It needs to be done with all the right paperwork, because no kind of business should be done shaking hands. We need to make sure we have our T's crossed, our I's dotted, make sure we have all the legal paperwork in order. Because if we trust each other, then we have no problem signing all this paperwork. I feel like if someone doesn't want to sign it, then there's something dodgy going on.
Going to the comments, Zico says, our problem as Blacks or Ghanaians is investing. How can you have $2 million sitting in the bank for what? I work for a billionaire and every dollar is reinvested. He hardly has money sitting idly. He makes an interesting point about the reinvesting. Now, do you believe that people should constantly be reinvesting into whatever it is they're doing?
So he's reinvesting, meaning he's just putting money back into something that is going to make his money grow, right?
I think so.
And so this is, whatever it is, this is what we need to be doing. We want our money to be working for us. So whatever that looks like for this, if this man is a billionaire, maybe he has a business, so he's reinvesting his money into his business. Maybe he's reinvesting his money into other business opportunities, into other investments that he has. But the whole point is, we don't want to leave our money sitting in the bank because it's going to lose value over time. And we want our money to work for us. The only way we can let our money work for us is to invest it.
And what are your recommendations when it comes to investing? Because there's so many options out there. You know, people these days, a lot are talking about Bitcoin. You hear about stock options. Someone might want to, invest in someone's business. Like, what are the things that people should be looking at, especially if you don't really understand the whole scope of things as to what really would work for you?
Okay, so Bitcoin, good luck. I don't advise on Bitcoin because it's not regulated. So just as professional advice, go ahead and do it. You go ahead and try it, but don't ask me for professional advice on Bitcoin because I don't give that. Okay. If we're looking at investing in stocks, I say for a beginner, look at investing in funds. Stocks can be quite volatile, and there's a lot to understand before investing in a stock. But to kind of play it a little bit safer, you can invest in a fund. So what is a fund? A fund is a group of stocks in one fund. So it's kind of like, you think the expression, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So if you're investing in only one company in the stock market, it could be Apple, Google, whatever, MTN, then you're putting all your eggs in that one basket. But if you're investing in funds, then you're spreading your risk, you're diversifying, you're putting your eggs into several stocks within that fund. Simple example is the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the US. So if you invest in that, then just a little bit of your money is going into 500 different companies. So you're spreading the risk. And the S&P has such a good track record over the last century or so. And so it's given about 10% every year. Okay, so that is just one example of a fund. Diversify easily by investing in funds as opposed to investing into one stock. Some people do trading, they do day trading, swing trading, stocks, options, futures. There's so many different ways to invest in the markets, but we don't want to complicate it. Keep it simple. Invest in funds and invest for the longer term. When I say longer term, ideally we should be looking at 10 years or longer. I'm not saying don't invest at all if it's going to be shorter than 10 years, but 10 years or longer means that you can benefit from the ups and downs or the volatility that there might be in the market. And then every market cycle is about 10 years. So you can really benefit from a bull market, which is just like when the markets are going upwards.
Please explain the bull market again, because I know for people who go into who are not familiar with the stock market, they don't understand what is a bull market. What's the opposite? I can't remember now. There's bull and
bear.
Bear, that's it. Bull and bear market. What is the difference between the two?
Okay, so a bull market is if you look at a chart and you see that something is doing well, any kind of chart, okay, you see that if the numbers are going up, right, when you see money and it's going up, that's a good thing. That's a bull market. Markets are going upwards, okay? And the opposite is when they're on a decline, and that's a bear market, or you might say we're going into a recession. So what you want is you want to benefit from a bull market, and the market cycle is generally 10 years. The one that we're in now has been a little bit longer than that, but generally if we're looking at a 10-year cycle, you will benefit from the markets going up for 10 years or so. If you can hold it for even longer, then even better. And so it's not about timing the market, it's about how much time you spend in the market. And so the longer you spend time in the market, the more you can benefit from the returns.
So 10 years in order to benefit from a good return.
Ideally. I'm not saying that you can't benefit from funds if you invest for a shorter term, but give you a simple example. Let's just say you had invested for 5 years and you needed your money last year in March when COVID hit and the markets all tanked. That would be awful for you. But if you had to wait another 5 years, the markets would definitely recover. Okay, so this is why when we're looking at the recovery period and we factor that in, over 10 years, you should be okay. And generally, when you're looking at investing, when I look at your investing term, your objective, whatever your financial goals are, when we're getting towards the end of that term, then we'd probably be switching into more cautious investments so we can lock in the returns and the gains that you had over that period.
Anyone who wants to join the live, ask a question of Lydia, please do put your questions and comments in the comment section. Maybe we should even have someone join us in the live stream. If someone wants to come and join and ask the question, I have just put the link in the comments. If you would like to join the live stream and ask Lydia your question directly, she is providing some really great advice from the beginner level, intermediate level. You can learn a lot from what she's saying when it comes to how to manage your money. And this is a really important topic that a lot of people don't like talking about. So when it comes to becoming creative to create new streams of income, what are some of the things that people can think about, Lydia, to help themselves have another way of making extra money?
Well, one, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you even just were to do a simple Google search, how to create streams of income, you would see so many options, you might even be overwhelmed. But that just tells you there are so many options out there for how to create income streams, right? You could create a YouTube channel. You can make money off of social media. You could do drop shipping. You can do affiliate marketing. These are just a few. You can be a freelancer. Okay, you could start your own company. Okay, you could be a board member, a shareholder. There are so many different ways, and some require more effort than others in terms of time and energy. And some are just as simple as setting up a website, and then you can actually hand it over to someone else to manage for you. But there are so many different options. So the way I break it down is into 3 categories. So what you're talking about is income streams, which is about earning wealth. So earn wealth is the first category. And once you've earned wealth, you can use that income to build wealth. That's the second category. And that's when we look at investing. Because if you don't have an income, you won't have any money to invest. So we need you to have an income coming in, whether it's from your day job or other sources or multiple sources. Then with that income, then the next step is to build wealth. And build wealth is all about investing. And again, similar to income streams, there are so many different avenues for investment. And then once you're investing, then you can start thinking about the future, which is preserve wealth. And preserve wealth is all about generational wealth and how the wealth that you've built up can be passed down to future generations. And you want to pass down the wisdom as well, not just the money. You want to make sure that the money can be passed down not just to your children or your beneficiaries, whoever they may be, but you want it to last at least a couple of generations, if not more, right?
Okay.
One generation is, 30 years or so.
Right. So we have a comment here, blind guy and his wife, their life, says, great topic. Oh, someone was in the live stream and I was going to add him and he just left. It was a Shay Niger. He just jumped off and I was about to add him. Yes. If you want to come back on, Shay, come back in because I was just about to add you and you left.
I see he wrote a comment here.
This is... So, okay. Well, hopefully he comes back, but because I was waiting for Lydia to wrap up the answer she was given, and then I was going to add Shay Niger to the stream, but he just jumped off. So let's see. The next comment is from Derek. Derek J. Love actually wrote a book on money, and thank you so much for joining. If you want to join the discussion, I put the link in the comments. If you want to add to the discussion, Derek, I would love to hear your thoughts on what we've been talking about. So we said, great discussion, much needed in our community. We have to unlock our minds to building wealth. So as I said, Derek, if you want to join, I put the link to the live stream. You can click on it and we can add you and you can add your thoughts because you are also an expert in the financial industry with your book as well. So thank you so much. Yeah, you've been really giving some really great points here, Lydia, things that people can really think about that they can do practically, simple steps. Okay, so Shay, my network is horrible. I wanted a question answered. Yes, what's your question, Shay? I was going to add you to the stream, but then you dropped out. So that could be because of your network, as you said. So you can type your question in and let us know what it is you wanted to ask.
I see Shay has asked, where can we find reputable, budget-friendly brokers or funds or crypto? I'll take answers offline. So this depends on where you're located, Shay. So maybe if you can tell me which country you're in, then I can help you with that. I am able to get clients in almost any country in the world because Holborn is a global company. But there are a few countries where I'm not able to do so due to regulation and licensing. So if you let me know which country you're in, then I might be able to make suggestions.
Okay, so in the meantime, while we're waiting for him to let you know, him or her, because I don't know if it's a he or she. Okay, here we've got it. I'm American with accounts in the US, currently working in Niger.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so Niger, I'll have to double check because I haven't actually had a conversation with anyone who is based in Niger before. I have clients in some West African countries, but as a US, if you have accounts in the US already, I know it's a little bit tricky because technically you should not be able to have investment accounts when you're not a resident in the US. I know there are ways around this, but I would have to find out from my office if I'm able to take on a client in Niger, and then I can propose options for you.
What's your email, Lydia, that we can share? An email we can share if they want to, he wants to.
Okay, I will type it out for you so you can.
And then that way, he or she can send you their question, and you can answer that directly.
Yep, that's fine. I don't know if you want me to send a link if they want to book a meeting. Would that be beneficial or email time?
If you want to do that,
Sure.
If you want to do that, you certainly can. So I just put your email address in the comments. I'll also put it on the screen for those who maybe you might miss in the comments. I'll put on the screen as well. So you can see this is the email address that you can reach her at to ask your questions. If you want to become, her client or anything like that, she can help you. In the meantime, I also wanted to share Derek J. Love, who popped in with his comment. This is his book. This is his book, Unlock Your Money, Stop Admiring the Wealthy and Become One. His book is on Amazon. So so he's an expert himself in the money matters. So make sure that you check that out. Hopefully he's able to join the live stream. So thanks. I'll take this offline. Thank you so much for your comment. We really appreciate it. And then Lydia has a calendar that you can, through Calendly, that you can use to book an appointment with her if you would like to have a conversation. Let me just put that up as well in the comments.
Ivy? Ivy?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. It cut out a little. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. It's not frozen anymore.
Okay. Had a brief internet situation, so
it happens.
I'm used to this happening from time to time in Ghana with the internet stuff. So so I put the link there. So I hope that most of you who want to book an appointment, you're able to do that. Adrina Monet, thank you for joining. Glad you can hear us. We've been talking with Lydia Andrews for the last almost an hour. Can you believe almost an hour has passed?
Time
We've been
has
talking
flown.
about
It's such an important topic.
yeah, we've been talking about money and how to manage your money, how to build wealth, planning, and we've had some great questions and comments, people who come into the live stream. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Lydia is very experienced and very knowledgeable. She's very helpful with all of this, and I'm glad that she's been able to share some of her knowledge today. I know people have been joining a little bit later. Those of you who are joining, she is a wealth and mindset coach at Holborn Assets in the UAE, but she does have experience working with clients around the world. And she's been sharing some wonderful knowledge with everyone today. Let's see if there's any more comments. Adrina, I'll need to watch from the beginning when I get a chance. Okay, no problem. This will live on my YouTube channel after we're finished. I won't be taking it off, it'll be there. And you can always reach out to Lydia. You can follow her too. She is on Instagram. This is her Instagram handle.
And my
that I put
Twitter.
on the
My Twitter is the same.
Okay, the Twitter is the same. That's right. That's right. So Instagram and Twitter, it's Lydia Lids with 3 Z's at the end, or 3 Z's, depending on which country you're coming from. And for women on Facebook, she has a Facebook group for women called Love Yourself Financially. And then there's a website to go with that group, which is loveyourselffinancially.com. She is definitely someone to reach out to if you need some advice. Derek says, I'm currently unable to join, sitting in real estate closing with a client. Woohoo! He's making money. Only able to
Good
listen
luck.
now. But woohoo! Make that money, Derek. Make that money. So the next person says, it's like to come in with a question if allowed. Yeah, you can come in with your question. Just let me put the link in the stream again so that you can click on it and join. So blind guy, his wife, and their life. I just put the link for you to join the stream. So just click on that, and it should bring you in. And then you can ask your question directly in the live stream. And Lydia can give you an answer. It won't be me, it'll be Lydia, because she's the money expert here. We all have to think about our money, and it's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about with friends and family, especially. People often say, don't talk about politics, religion, and money. Those are 3 things people say not to have conversations about, because you end up hitting sensitive areas, and people get easily offended, they get upset, or you have a lot of pushback in those areas. And when it comes to money, people don't like to talk about how much they make. It's like a big secret a lot of the time. Either people are too embarrassed for people to know what they make, or they make so much they don't want people to know because they feel like there might be a sense of envy, or they might feel like a sense of responsibility that they don't want. I don't know, whatever it is. People don't like sharing what their salaries are, especially within the same workplace sometimes, because they don't want you know that person makes more money than that person, and they might be doing the same thing, you know. So money is definitely an important topic around the world, no matter where you are, no matter where you are in the world. And I think people who are living in countries where, poverty might be higher, like in countries like Ghana, poverty might be a little bit higher than it is in other countries, like if someone's from the US. Access to support isn't always there. So if someone is in the US and they're having financial challenges, I just dropped something. They're having financial challenges, they may go to like social assistance, welfare, to get some help. That doesn't exist in countries like Ghana. What does the person who is in that kind of state do to try to find a way to get ahead? How do they do it?
Wow. So I want to first address the first point you made about the people who don't want to share because they're worried about maybe other people grabbing onto their opportunities, taking them. That's a scarcity mindset. And so if you constantly think that you need to hold on to what you have because you're worried about other people taking it, then you're limiting yourself to what other opportunities are available. So instead of thinking, oh, this is mine, I don't want to share, I want to keep it for myself, think that this is mine, but I can give some of it to someone else. And as I do that, more opportunities for me will open up. You know, the simple expression is the pie is big enough. The pie is more than big enough for several of us to share. And so we need to stop thinking that I don't want to share or I don't want to help this person because I don't want them to get to my level or even surpass me. There's so much opportunity available and there's more than enough money in the world. And the problem is when we want to hold on to the little that we have, we're not going to be able to uplift someone else who's not doing it as well.
So Derek says he's going to make sure to connect with you.
Wonderful, Derek. Looking forward to it. Yeah, and then we live in a global world. Look at, I'm in UAE, you're in Ghana. We're able to connect. We're able to have a conversation. There are so many opportunities that are global. So right now I'm working on my website. The guy who's working on it for me is based in Nigeria, right? I have a coach for my business. My coach is based in the US, okay? So, and I have clients, like I mentioned, in different countries. So that should not limit what you're able to accomplish.
Right.
We need to start thinking, again, it might be harder because me, born and raised in Canada, I had hardly gone anywhere. I wasn't thinking anywhere outside of Canada. So it's a little bit harder when you haven't traveled as much, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's definitely possible for you from the comfort of your home to create businesses or to be a freelancer and service clients that are in other countries. And so we need to start thinking outside of the box, connecting with people in different places, growing our network. You know, like they say, your net worth is your net worth. It's true. And so as you open your mind to those opportunities, you'll start to see more opportunities and you'll start spreading out that way. Welcome, Blind Guy and his wife.
Welcome yes. to the stream.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I'm loving the look.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Thank you. I just had to grab the microphone. I realized it was a little far away. And so I apologize if the audio wasn't there initially.
Oh, it's good. You're good.
Yes, and thank you for the compliments. Thank you for also hosting me, having me here, Ivy. And so nice to meet you, Lydia.
Nice to meet you too.
So my question is regarding, I think this is something that's just, it's just not talked about. My husband is blind, I'm the wife, and we are in the United States. So we are looking at like, oh, and we have 3 children, you know, so we're looking at, okay, yeah, we want to definitely, I like what you said about investing because we want to definitely invest in our children. So we do have current investments, not large investments, small investments, and we're just always looking at growing those. So we're just still trying to figure out how to best do that, because the reality for us is that even though my husband's a man, he's a wonderful man, men, you know, the world is theirs, they're the ones that are kind of running things. As a blind person, it's different. And so I don't know your experience with blind people or, you know, just your encounters in general. He's a college graduate, graduated at the top of his class while blind, award winning, and all of those good things. He's a writer. However, there are still often limitations that are there, challenges and limitations. So we're always trying to figure those out, how to best navigate them.
Wow. Well done for him and all that he's accomplished. I think one thing I didn't mention this is such a perfect time, especially when we were talking about your children. The first thing I thought of was life insurance. I haven't mentioned life insurance. Life insurance is an important investment, right? Life insurance will pay a lump sum upon the death, and that money will be paid out to the beneficiaries. And that is an easy way to create generational wealth. We're all going to die one day. Okay, let me say that again. We're all going to die one day. We may not want to accept it, but that is the truth. So we need to have life insurance.
Yeah, I was just going to say it is the only way that I know of to get out of this life. I've been told we have to die.
Right, exactly. So that's one thing that I think everyone should have. Even if you're someone, you don't have children, you don't have any beneficiaries, there's no one you think you can pass the money on to, stats show that you're more likely to get diagnosed with a critical illness before 65 than you are to die. So at the very least, if you don't want life insurance, you can get standalone critical illness insurance, because the worst thing that could happen is you're diagnosed with a critical illness and you're not able to take care of the bills, whether your hospital bills, home bills, lifestyle bills, and so on. So you want to be able to cover that. And it's also a lump sum that can be put in your pocket. So simple example, you may be in a country that has health insurance that will cover all of your medical bills. The simple fact that you were diagnosed and it's covered under the terms and conditions means that that lump sum will be paid out. So maybe all the bills will be covered by your health insurance, but you still receive that lump sum simply by getting diagnosed. Now, I'm not hoping that you get diagnosed with anything, okay, but we want to protect ourselves against any possible risks. That's what life insurance is. That's why we have car insurance. That's why we have health insurance. So why not get life insurance? That's one thing we know is going to happen. We're going to die. And then we know that statistically, you're more likely to get a critical illness. So why not get critical illness cover as well? It's to protect us and our loved ones from the financial impacts of, getting diagnosed with a critical illness or from dying. Okay. And then the next thing you asked me was, you said small investments. I have heard people, you don't have to tell me how much your investments are worth, but this is such a relative and subjective number. Okay. But good for you for getting started. So the next step is, like I said, the 3 foundations, the 3 pillars: earn wealth, build wealth, preserve wealth. Yes. So if you have some investments, but you're looking at how you can make more money to invest more, then that's where we can look at income streams. I can't even begin to imagine some of the challenges that your husband might face as a blind man. I have no idea, but perhaps there are communities of people, maybe blind men that are into investing that can support you, or blind men that are into building income streams that can give specific advice to him as a blind man.
That's useful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a blind musician that I know in Ghana who has managed to, have quite, a small successes in performing with, I think it was the National Orchestra in Ghana. And so there's always ways, I know it's not easy, but there's ways of finding ways to niche. Because I think a lot of our world today is fascinated when someone may have what they see as a disability and they still manage to do things that they think, how did you do that when you have a disability? They're like, how did you do that if you can't walk? How did you do that if you have no hands? How did you do that if you have no legs? Like, people are like fascinated by it. So I feel like maybe, because I mean, even with your YouTube name being Blind Guy and His Wife, Their Life, I haven't seen your channel before, but I'm curious and I want to go to your channel now and go and see what did they talk about. Is he on the channel too? Is he on the channel with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We started a YouTube channel sort of like from where Lydia was saying before, start something. There are so many different ways to do so many different things. So for years, we've been storytellers. That being said, he started our storytelling group, Atumpan, when he was in college, because he could see, he lost his sight because he just got sick. It was like a freak thing that just happened out of nowhere, where he just started having, blurred vision and tunnel vision and headaches. So he lost his sight, age 19, had to go to the school for the blind to learn like how to use his talking software. When he got to college, he said, "Oh, let's use this." Oh, thank you, Wisdom Kweku, by the way. But he said, let's use this opportunity to share what I'm learning. So we had this business all these years, storytellers and presenting and all of these things. But we kept hearing, do a YouTube channel, people saying those things. And so he's absolutely on the channel because he's a natural born wordsmith, he's a writer, that's what he does. And so on the channel, oh yeah, he's definitely on there. And we do our live streams, and then we also do edited videos, and I cook, so he eats the food and gives me reviews.
That sounds like a fun
I'm
job.
definitely gonna check out your I'm definitely gonna check out your channel when we finish this today.
Thank you. Thank you. But I do appreciate your insight, Lydia. Thank you, Ivy, as well for, just adding that boost of confidence, because part of our plans are to travel back and forth to Ghana. And not just to like travel for a month at a time, but like, oh, let me live here 6 months. Let me live here 6 months, back and forth between Ghana and whatever other countries we'd like to travel to. And so, of course, part of that is income and streams of income, as Lydia said earlier. And so we've definitely been exploring that, but we also figured, well, let's ask about, just the atmosphere. How are blind people received around the world? Because we know what it's like in the States, and it's interesting and it's situational. So, we just didn't know. We figured let's just get some insight since the invitation was here to hop on. So thank you for that.
Right, you're right. And I'll tell you, in Ghana, it is definitely, they're years behind the US when it comes to how people respond to those who may have, physical challenges or disabilities, whatever word that people choose to use. Because society in Ghana, historically, traditionally, there's been this mindset that people felt like if you were born with any deformities or you have any challenges, they felt like you weren't 100% worthy in society. So you still see some people who reject those who may not be seen as having all of the assets of what's seen as being fully human. But there is a growing group of people who are adjusting and seeing that, hey, no, just because of this and this, it doesn't mean they can't do A, B, C, and D. There's a news reporter on one of the news stations who is blind. I think it's on GTV in Ghana. So, there's those people who are breaking through and paving the way for others. And then there are those who are still behind in their thinking. But I mean, I remember 20, 30 years ago in Canada and the US, people weren't thinking the same way they do now when it comes to,
Right.
treat people who may be physically challenged. So it takes time, and it takes people seeing change, because if they don't see the possibilities, then they think it's impossible, right?
So true. So true. Okay.
Ivy, say that again. You have to say that again, Ivy. Repeat that line, please.
If they don't see what's possible, they think it's possible. Is that what I said? Is that
Yes, that's what you said. That's a good one.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you, Zico. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, this is inspirational, like you're saying, just to go do it,
Yeah.
be the change you want to see.
Absolutely. And, maybe this is a good time to plug in that this is what I do for women. Through my wealth coaching, I help them monetize their purpose. And we all have a different purpose, right? Maybe your purpose is maybe if you move to Ghana, maybe your purpose will be to educate people, bring more awareness when it comes to living as a blind person. And obviously, as your wife, how to support living with someone or being married to someone who is blind. You never know. And then how you can transform that purpose. I'm not saying that is your purpose, perhaps, maybe not, but whatever your purpose is, maybe it's something that you can monetize, because at the end of the day, we all have value. And so we need to recognize that. Other people have recognized that, and they're making a lot of money from it. Some of us don't recognize the value that we have. And so we're not able, with value, there is often a monetary amount, if you want to say that, associated with it. And so we need that kind of exchange. Otherwise, you'll be drained constantly.
I love it.
Absolutely. I like this wisdom's comment.
Yes, I love all these people are giving their comments here. Wisdom said, every time I seem to give up and lose hope, the only one who always seems to boost me up and show me the way is Black women. Salute to you all. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining. And like I said, I am going to check out your channel for sure.
Yes. I'm going to, I'm just grabbing all of the information from the video, like Lydia's email and everything, her booking, Calendly booking, and all of those links. So thank you also, Ivy, and thank you again, Lydia. Have a great day,
Thank
ladies.
you so much. Nice to meet you.
You too as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, that was
If
nice.
anybody else wants to join the live stream, I have added the link there for anyone else who wants to join. We can do one more person before we wrap up. If anyone wants to join and ask a question of Lydia. If you're just now joining, just a brief reminder, we're speaking with Lydia Andrews. She is a wealth coach and she works with Holborn Assets out of the UAE. She has a passion for helping women when it comes to money, but she does help both men and women. For women, she has a group called Love Yourself Financially, which is on Facebook. And then the website for that is loveyourselffinancially.com. You can follow her both on Instagram and Twitter at Lydia Lids. And her email, if you need to reach out to her, is lydia.andrews@holbornassets.com. So that's the information to reach her. If you have anything you want to, say offline, because sometimes people have questions when it comes to money that they don't want to say, in the public. They'd rather do it in a one-on-one coaching session. So you can reach out to her there. Blind Guy and his wife, thank you again for having you. No problem whatsoever. Thank you for joining. And I'm glad that you did join because I'm going to check out your channel. Wisdom says, thank you for sharing this valuable information. You are most welcome. I have to say thank you to Lydia for sharing all of the information, because we need to have these conversations more, and it's not happening. And then next thing you know, years down the road, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this and this and this, and then it might be too late. You might feel like it's too late. I won't say it's too late, because it's never too late to get started. But when you get started late, it's harder to get to the level that you want to get to when you have a shorter amount of time. So we have somebody here asking, is investment in Ghana?
Okay, so I don't actually do investments in Ghana. If you're based in Ghana and you want to do investments offshore or look at global investments, then I can help you with that. But I don't look at investing in Ghanaian opportunities.
Okay, so Tilly the Top just got here, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview, Tilly. Lydia is a wealth coach, and so she's giving advice on building wealth, on how to make money, how to save money, how to plan for the future. And she has a lot of knowledge from around the world, but she doesn't deal with specific investments in Ghana, but she does advise people on how you can manage your finances no matter what your country that you're in. But she doesn't deal with like the Ghana has its own stock market. She doesn't deal with like the Ghanaian stock market or anything like that. I want to let everybody know actually also that this coming week there is going to be a Ghana Diaspora Investment Summit happening, and it's going to be streaming live on not on my channel, but on the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. So for those of you who are in Ghana, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center is a great place to reach out to if you want information about investments, about doing business in Ghana. They can answer a lot of your questions. You can easily just type Ghana Investment Promotion Center into Google and you'll find their website and their information is there. If you're in Ghana looking for stuff in Ghana, that's a tip for anybody looking for Ghanaian opportunities. Back to the comments. Oh, you know what? I know you mentioned life insurance. It was KJ's asking about in terms of life insurance. What types do you recommend? Because there's different types of life insurance. I hear about term life. So like, what is it that you recommend?
Okay, so I think a simple term life is fine. So term life, it works similar to car insurance. If you're diagnosed or you're diagnosed with a critical illness. So I say life insurance, but I refer to life and critical illness insurance. So it works two ways. If you're diagnosed with a critical illness, then a lump sum is paid out. If you pass away during the term, then a lump sum is paid out. So critical illness is paid to you because you're alive. you've been diagnosed, so you can receive the money. But if you pass away, of course, the money is given to your beneficiaries. You don't receive that money. Okay. And then there's also whole of life. So whole of life is where there's a life insurance element and there's also investment element. It tends to be a bit more expensive than term insurance, but because there's an investment element to it, you can actually cash in the amount that's in the investment. Okay, so let's just say normally what happens is maybe after 15, 20 years, the value of the investments is worth just as much or slightly more than the premiums that you've paid in. So if you decided that after 20 years, you no longer want the life insurance, you can cash in and withdraw the investment amount. And whole of life, like the name says, it's not like term insurance where term usually ends at a certain age. Often it's 80. Whole of life, depending on the company, but most times it will last until you die. So whether you die at 90, 100, 130, 150, the money will pay out. Some whole of life policies will actually stipulate that the cover will end at a particular age. So it's just worth checking to be sure.
So do you recommend that somebody who is young gets critical life insurance or critical health insurance, life insurance, or do you think they should wait till after they have kids? Or if they don't have kids, should they even bother? Like, those are things that people say, oh, I'm not going to bother because I don't have children. I'm not going to bother because I know I'm healthy, those kinds of things.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Don't take your health for granted. And the thing with life insurance is the younger you are, the less expensive it will be. So get it while you're young and cheap and lock in that rate for life. If you wait, maybe you wait 10 years, then you might end up paying, double what you would have paid 10 years prior. And then with regards to I don't have kids, this is why I was explaining that having critical illness cover is important for you, because you don't know what's going to happen, how your life will turn out in terms of your health. Yeah, it's still possible for you to get life insurance, Shay. Even if you're over 40, it doesn't matter. So if you don't have any beneficiaries, no one to pass on your life insurance to, then you can get standalone critical illness cover if that's available in whichever country you're based.
Good advice. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but in Ghana right now, because in Ghana people spend a lot of money on funerals, and because it's a whole spectacle and display. So there's some insurance companies now that are offering these insurance packages that are specifically for funerals.
I've seen those. I've heard my friends. Some of my friends have mentioned that they have this, or some of my clients as well. Again, life insurance isn't just for funerals, right? Life insurance is to pass money on to your beneficiaries, not just to help take care of the funerals, but I think it should be used for building wealth for future generations. Funeral cover is only meant to cover the funeral costs. And honestly, funeral costs are so varied in Ghana. Some may be very inexpensive. Some could be hundreds of thousands of cedis or more. So it's hard to tell. So at least with life insurance, when you receive a lump sum payout, you can be sure that it will cover your funeral and then some. Looks like we lost Ivy. Welcome back, Ivy. Yeah.
Yes, I dropped the internet cut out. I saw that someone was asking about your email information. We've put her email earlier, but I'll put it on again for anybody who's missed it. If you want to reach out to Lydia, you can email her at lydia.andrews@holbornassets.com. So you can reach her there. I believe it was Tilly to the Top that was asking for that information. So you can reach out to her. She also was giving her calendar. If you want to book an appointment with her, you can certainly do that as well through Calendly. When you go onto the Calendly link, it'll give you options of dates and time slots that she's available to book. So I will put that in the comments again for those of you who may have missed it earlier. If you want to book, you can click there directly and it'll book you a time slot to have a chat with her. So we have, let's see, more comments here. I hope my internet doesn't start to give trouble for the rest of this live. Okay, so Blind Guidance Wife says, I think we learned more about life insurance after having our children. We've been together 29 years and our oldest daughter's 14, so we went a long time without it. A lot of people seem to go a long time without it. That does happen a lot. Then we have KJ, thank you for explaining the difference between whole life versus term life. I'll look into both. I plan to take advantage of your consultation. So awesome. That's great.
Thank you, KJ. KJ, where are you based? I should point out that, okay, so with Holborn, there are certain countries where I can't provide financial advice. I can have a consultation with you to give you some general guidance, but I cannot offer you my services. That's in the US, the UK, South Africa, and Australia. So those are the four major ones.
Wait, so the US?
So if you're
US,
living,
UK, South Africa.
yeah. If you're living in those countries, then I cannot give you my service. I cannot offer you my services, but I can give you some general guidance.
You cannot offer your services under Holborn Assets.
Yes, but for Love Yourself Financially, I'm happy to work with women anywhere in the world.
Okay, so just for clarity, she said that because she's in the UAE, working for Holborn Assets in the UAE, if you live in certain countries, she cannot legally give you advice under that company she's with, but she can give you financial guidance. And then her separate business that she's doing on her own outside of Holborn Assets is Love Your Life Financially. And with her Love Your Life Financially, that one is geared towards women. That one, I mean, Love Yourself Financially. Oh my God, what did I say?
We want to love our lives financially. You said
so
love your life.
Oh my God.
It's so relevant.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Before I came on this live stream, I was telling Lydia as I came on, I literally got in the door from work and quickly got onto my laptop, got everything ready to join, to do the live stream. So I am probably running on the fumes of hunger, as well as exhaustion. So my apologies. Let me put that on the screen for those of you who missed it before. Love Yourself Financially, Facebook group for women. She advises anyone around the world through this. And she has loveyourselffinancially.com. The website will have a little bit more information. You can follow her on Instagram. She provides great tips on Instagram as well as on Twitter. She is Lydia Lids. So one of the things to know is, I mean, when it comes to the finances, when it comes to money, so many financial advisors are giving advice to people around the world, but they don't necessarily give the specific details because each country has different laws, right? The laws for, certain types of investing in Canada will be different than in the US, even though they're right beside each other. It'll be a little different in Ghana than it is in, Nigeria. So it's important to know, though, that there are universal rules when it comes to money. There are universal suggestions and tips and ways that we can handle ourselves when it comes to investing, when it comes to saving, when it comes to planning for the future. So those are the things that Lydia is able to do, those things for you around the world. When it's general information, that is, there's a foundation when it comes to money that's the same everywhere in the world, no matter where you go. These billionaires and millionaires are making money in so many different countries, and they're using the same similar fundamentals to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter where you're based, there's no excuse to get your money right. And we're not just getting our money right, we are earning wealth, we're building wealth, we're preserving wealth.
Okay, so there's a question I have here from PY. Ivy, what advice would you give to those of us in the diaspora who want to invest in business in Ghana, but are worried about dishonesty of our people?
Honestly,
that's something
that's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. My advice is that you need to come and see things for yourself to vet the validity of the business you're investing in. So you have to actually come to Ghana, spend some time around the business or around the person, and really get to know if this is really a legitimate business that you actually want to invest in. Because it is hard to know when you're abroad, and you're right, there are some people that can be shady and you don't know if they're really being honest or not. So it's important that you do come, you vet this business, whether it's talking to other people about hearing about their business, about your business. And yeah, I really think that that's important. It's really important that you come and you spend the time here. Connect with organizations like I mentioned earlier, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the Register General, to make sure it really is a legitimate business that's registered in the country, the Register General, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, like all of these entities that deal with businesses. Have they heard of whoever this is? Is it registered? Who have they been doing business with? Do they have a legitimate website? Are they using social media to promote their things? Do they have clients? Do you have clients that you can see really are true clients? All kinds of questions that you should ask yourself before making the decision to commit your money to a business that you don't know anything about, or that you don't know the person. So make sure that you vet all those things. And I think it takes actually coming into the country and spending time doing that. I have to acknowledge Ochame 003. Thank you so much for your super chat today. I really appreciate it. He says, Ivy, glad I caught you on this. Although I'm in the middle of work, just want to express my thanks for all the wonderful content you create. You make it look easy, even though it is work. Stay blessed. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Ochame. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. So that's the advice I have for you, PY, when it comes to making decisions to invest in Ghana. You may want to tune in to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center's live stream they'll be doing on June 23rd and June 24th. It will be streaming on their Facebook and their Instagram pages. They're doing an investment summit. It's happening at Kempinski Hotel, but they're doing the virtual because they know there's people around the world who want to tune in. So there's going to be different people in the business industry, in government. We're discussing policies and ways to invest. So you may want to tune into that. I will likely put the live stream link in my YouTube community page so that people who want to tune in can tune in. I will be there, but I won't be streaming for my channel because I'll be there working as part of Beyond the Return under Ghana Tourism Authority, covering for their social platforms. So I might take a few pictures here and there, but I won't be streaming on my channel for that. But just a tip for you if you want to go and check that out. So thank you so much, everybody who's here. We're going it's an hour and a half now we've been going. Lydia, you let me know when you're ready to wrap up, because I know Lydia is in a different time zone, the UAE. It's like 11, after 11?
Yeah, it's 11:30 almost.
11:30. So, okay, so we'll wrap up in the next, I'll say 5 to 10 minutes to let Lydia go get some rest. Blind Guy, much appreciated for the explanation regarding Holborn versus Love Yourself Financially. Thank you so much, everybody who's been joining the live stream here today. And I really appreciate all the great advice you've been giving, Lydia. Let me see.
Love Yourself Financially? Should be. You just have to search for Love Yourself Financially and it'll pop up. I'll get the link and send.
Yeah, when you find the link, just send it to me and then I'll post it on the screen.
Oh, the link.
One of the discouraging things about African nations. One of the discouraging things about African nations is the limits across borders for moving money. I'm in Niger and I can't send super chats to my favorite YouTubers. Aww, that is so sad. I know, I hope that the new free trade agreement between African countries really starts to open those kinds of limitations. I don't know, for those of you watching who are not aware, this year officially kicked off there's a free trade, African continental free trade agreement across the continent of Africa, and almost all the countries have signed this new trade deal. between the countries that's supposed to make trade and doing business easier between African countries. That is the hope. And the Secretariat office for this is in Ghana. So they're hoping that this will open up things. So I hope that things change as time goes by for this new continental free trade agreement. So let me put Lydia's Facebook group link on the screen for those of you trying to find it.
Will it work with the way I sent the link? I sent a bit.ly. Maybe if you put it in the comments?
I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the comments.
Okay.
So in the comments right now, I've just put the link to Lydia's Facebook group for women, to helping women with their money.
Sorry, guys, not for you, but feel free to follow me on Instagram or Twitter.
So PY has a follow-up comment. I'm Ghanaian. I know the business I want to create and the potential for it, but I can't move now to manage it myself and will have to depend on people, but I've been burnt badly in the past. Oh, you know, I can understand where you're coming from with that. I would suggest, if you're trying to find someone to work with, you can connect with the Diaspora Investment Desk. Is part of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. They have this Diaspora Investment Desk, and the purpose of that is connecting with the diaspora when it comes to doing business. And they may have, have some guidance for you to help you out. Let me see if I can get their link, because they have an Instagram page, Diaspora Investment Desk, on Instagram. Just give me one moment. My internet has been a little bit slow today, as we saw when I dropped out of the live stream earlier.
We know how it is. Don't worry, Ivy.
Yeah, Ghana, Africa in general. That's one thing I advise people when you're moving to the continent of Africa, to be aware that you have to manage your expectations when it comes to, it's not connecting. So let me so PY, what I'll do is when the live stream is over. Okay, so it's called the Diaspora Investment Desk on Instagram. Okay. I'm trying to get the exact handle so I can get the link to post. So they're actually even working on a whole hub of information for people from the diaspora communities who are interested in doing investments in Ghana. So so they're good to connect with. The woman in charge of that, her name is Marina. And so it'd be good to connect. Soka Family TV says, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Ivy, do you have a place on your channel or website for all Ghanaian resources that you are mentioning? I actually have a book called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana, a second edition. And in the back of the book, I have resources that have phone numbers, that have email addresses, that have addresses. It is called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana, and it is on Amazon. Adrina says, Vodafone has thankfully been pretty good for me on this trip. That's good. You know, I find that generally speaking, when you're just going day to day, sometimes you don't have as many challenges. But when you're doing things like live streams, when you're doing heavy content creation, so like those of us who have YouTube channels and other content we do, the constant uploading of stuff, uploading of videos, trying to live stream, there's often challenges. But when you're a business, like the business corporations, they have access to higher speeds and better quality internet than consumers that are individuals like me. So when I go to the office has better internet than I do here in my house. So corporations have access to different level of internet than individuals do. So so yeah, because of the content creation, it makes it challenging with loading videos. I have a friend who came here and he said he waited till he went back to the States and uploaded everything when he got back to the States, because every time he would try to do here, he was like, it's taking too long, it's taking too long. And since he was only here for a few weeks, he was willing to wait and then go back and do it there. So, okay, so Lydia got the link for me since mine wasn't connecting when I was trying to do it. So let me put it, I'll put in the comments for the Diaspora Investment Desk, their Instagram page. You can connect with them to ask them about trying to find ways to connect with somebody to do business, because they would have access to vetting and all that kind of stuff, because like you said, you want to make sure it's someone that you trust. You don't want to just jump in and then next thing you know, you're like, get burned, because there's too many stories of being burned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up because it is getting late for Lydia. It is 11:30 at night for her, and she does have a work day tomorrow, so I want to make sure she's well rested. And so I want to just remind everybody that this has been a great experience, learning more about money, getting advice, having these conversations. You can reach out to Lydia directly for more. Follow her on Instagram. If you know, some people you want to follow from afar, that's cool, because she does give great tips on her Instagram page. Follow her on Instagram, follow her on Twitter, Lydia Lids. For the women who want to be more in depth, it's Love Yourself Financially, the Facebook group for women. The website is loveyourselffinancially.com. If you want to reach out to her directly through email, you can reach her at lydia.andrews@holbornassets.com. So thank you, everyone who has been on today. I really appreciate it. This has been an awesome conversation. Lydia, thank you so much. You have me thinking again. Thinking again about money management, and all the things that we need to do if we want to build money and build legacy.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
We need to continue that conversation. Yeah, so my final thoughts are one of two. If you think about the life you want for yourself, do you think you'll have enough money for it? If the answer is no, then there are two ways that I can help you with that. We can look at one, if you need to create income. So then that's when I work with women on I work with professional women through my coaching program, a 4-month program on how to monetize your purpose. So if that's what you need to do, I would be happy to guide you on that journey, launching June 30th. And if you have money that's been sitting in the bank, or you have money that's you're investing and you're not sure if it's enough for you to meet your financial goals, whatever they may be, then you can book a free consultation with me through the link that Ivy shared with Holborn Assets. And I'll be happy to look at your financial goals and help set you up in investing or review your current investments.
Great. Thank you so much, Lydia. I saw one question here about if you work with NGO, NPOs, please do send Lydia an email for any further questions so that we can wrap up. Because I know if we get into another question, we will be going on and on and on. It can happen. So because this is an important conversation, but you can reach out to her. Her email is on the screen. And thank you once again, Lydia. I really appreciate it. For those of you who may have missed, you can always go back and watch this again, because this will be on my YouTube channel. You can watch it at a later time, fast forward, rewind, pause, take down notes. And thank you, Lydia, once again. Everyone here, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, Ivy.